Haha. I believe we are back. I say we're back. I'm looking at my screen, I'm seeing black. There we go. There we go. We're back. Let's confirm that sound quality. Yeah, fantastic. All right. Bring up my chat window, see what's happening. Cool. Ooh. Stay. Nice. Hello. Welcome back. We are gonna do some enemies today, I think. Last time we were working on the combat system, making it so that we've got a player with a sword and you can swing and do all this stuff. And we got that working, which is really nice. We've got that set up with some basic animations using our prototype cube. And we put a little test dummy. So what I want to do today, as per vote from you guys on the YouTube community, we are going to do enemies. And I think we're probably going to do that in the form of a bat. Just copy the bat from Link's Awakening. Keep it simple, something nice and basic. Yeah, do just something that moves around randomly. Well, maybe we'll do a bat and we'll do a I don't know, some kind of spitter thing. I maybe want to set it up so that we can take damage in this one. I'm not 100% certain yet if I want to mess around with getting the health set up for the player. I mean, the way that I have set it up makes it dynamic, so it's not too difficult to make that happen. It's just I don't want to faff around with UI and things, because that's a whole other process for making the code good. But anyway, to kind of explain the plan of how I want to implement this, I want to have a base enemy class, I think, which just is the manager, or the controller I should say, for all of the enemy's components, such as its movement controller. It can have logic for driving the state machine effectively, because I'll probably move over to having a proper state machine implementation for this eventually, but at least for the time being I'm just going to have a pseudo state machine with switch statements and some really bad implementation approach, a really basic implementation approach. And then we'll implement that in the form of things like the bat, the crawler, some kind of thing that will attack the player if it's in a certain range, and yeah, it should be good. So let's get straight ahead and look at where we are since last time. So we're back in this empty scene that we had from before, and I've made a couple of tiny changes from last time. The first thing I did was just in our hitbox, I've changed the direction that we're doing the box cast from up to forward, so that we get the normal all computed correctly, for gathering the direction that we're slicing the sword in, because anyone who watched the stream last time will remember that when we had this this test dummy, if I just go ahead and recreate us a cube. Oh wait, no, actually I saved it as a prefab. If I drag out our test dummy prefab into the world here, smack. Last time we were hitting it and it was going up. I have since that line change fixes that, so that now when we do our slice, it is getting hit forwards. Bang, bang, bang. You can see there that is moving him around. Based on the direction, we can hit him diagonally, and if we go ahead and update the damage, because again, anyone who was here on Friday will remember that we're doing that knockback based on the damage value so we can properly crank that up and get some real good damage going. But yeah, so let's go ahead and remove that testimony from there again, and let's start making some of the code for our bat, shall we? So I've got this enemies folder. I'm going to create a new subfolder called implementations, and then I will create our abstract enemy controller, which again, this is going to be an abstract class. And we're going to have this be, oh wait, no, we do want it to be a mono behavior, sorry. And this is going to be like our template definition, effectively, for everything that an enemy needs. So it needs to have a, not selection, serialized field, which will be a protected. What's wrong with that? There we go. Protected health manager, which is going to be the health manager. We will have... do we have an item drop? We can deal with item drops in a sec. I mean, for the time being, it's going to be just the health manager. We will also have a public Unity event. Just standard type, which we'll call on death event. Do I need that? I don't think I do, because I've got it on the health manager, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, on health change. So let's also have a public read-only Unity event on death equals new. Like that. And I probably don't want these to be read-only, because I want to be able to write to them in the inspector, or add new callbacks to them in the inspector. Cool. We will have a protected void on state changed, which will have a enemy state. Do I want to do it like that? Do I want to have it like that? No, I don't think I do. You know what? I'm gonna be lazy. I'm just gonna go straight ahead and implement the bat as a class, and we can refactor it later if we want to pull stuff out. So I'll call this bat enemy, because as well, what I want to do is use like a component driven approach where we have things have things like handling their own behaviors in these components, as is the kind of intended approach with mono behaviors and game objects in Unity. So yeah, we'll have a health manager. I'm going to have behavior of the bat. Let's talk about that first. So the bat should have 3 states. It should have a brain. It should have a like an idle state, and then when the player gets within a certain range, it should enter its like active state, and within that active state we'll have 2 substates. One is just random flapping, where it will fly around randomly and change direction every now and again, and the other will be attacking a player, so it will pick a random player to target, fly towards the player until it hits it, and then start flapping around randomly again. So we need some parameters for those ranges. We'll have a private float, I guess detection radius. something like that. And what we can also do, we can have it so that it's a random flip, basically. Yeah, there's a good idea. So if it decides to change away from the random flapping state, we'll do a check to see if there's a player within that radius. If there is, we'll pick the one that's closest and attack it. If there isn't, we'll go back to the idle state. I like that approach. So we will have a private enum, which can be the bat state, I guess. And we will have idle, roaming, and attacking. We can have a public void change state, which will take in a bat state. Whoops. New state. We therefore, why is that? Okay, public. We will have a private bat state current state. We will also have a private bat state initial state, or init state. No, naming detections, conventions, initial state. We'll also have a getter. Yeah, we can make this public. Oh my gosh, spelling public. Bat state current state. And we'll have this be get private set. And then in the change state, we'll do current state equals new state and do a switch on current state. Have idle, roaming, and attacking. There we go. So when we change state, we can set up our data here. So there's actually not going to be here anything for our idle state. It'll just be like, we'll do some animation handling, I imagine. In roaming, we will set direction to move, and then in attacking, we will detect for closest player. Yeah, cool. So I will create a few methods. We'll have public void. Yeah. Public void idle, or handle idle state. So again, this is like super basic state machine implementation that we're going for here. When behaviors start to get more complex, what you'd want to do is abstract the states into their own classes, their own behaviors, so that they handle their own things, and have some overarching state machine class that controls that. You could do that using Unity's animation system, or you could create your own. It kind of depends what you need from the implementation, because the thing with Unity's Mechanim animation, it is a state machine that typically most people only know is being used for animation, but it is a state machine, and it does have support for attaching behaviors to the animation states, which in my experience, just going to switch back over to this screen while I'm rambling. In my experience, this is good for if you have a an approach where you just want to have one layer of behavior, so there's no, like, you don't need to have nested behaviors. Say you have like a really complex player controller, something similar to maybe like Breath of the Wild, where you have like your overarching states of a grounded state, an in the air state, or a swimming state. And then you'll have sub-behaviors of those for idle, moving, attacking, maybe using an item, all the rest of this stuff. So you want to be obviously doing some different kind of behavior for that situation, and you might then have these nested trees, which in Unity's system I found that's not the nicest way to deal with things, because their approach works from the bottom up instead of the top down. And so switching between different states and all the rest of it is kind of a bit of a pain. So it might be better to implement your own for that, in which case I would highly recommend the iHeart Game Dev implementation. That's the one that I kind of circle back to. I've made changes to it over the iterations that I've used it for in games like Nightmare Daycare, which was a jam game that me and Jaden and another of our coders, Alex, did back last year at this point. Which, if you want to play that game, let me know. It's currently privated because it's a bit janky, but I'll consider opening it back up if anyone's interested. And then, yeah, it's a nicer system to build off if you need that that hierarchy type state machine approach. So that's definitely the better way to go if you're going down that route. But for the purposes of our little project here, at least for the time being, I don't need anything that complex. I can just do it all in-house. So I'm also going to have a public IEnumerator for handle roaming state. And this is because I want to let me just stick something in there so that it doesn't put some errors on there for me. Reason I want to do that is because I want to have it wait just a random amount of seconds before it stops and changes direction or decides if it's going to do something else. And we'll have some counter. Yeah, I think we'll do it like that. So we'll have it change directions 3 times. And yeah, we'll have it change directions 3 times, and if it hasn't found a player in those 3 direction changes, it will go back to being idle. Otherwise, it will attack a player, reset the direction change back to whatever parameter we set. So we can actually have a parameter for that up here. Let's add some headers as well. I like my code to be nice and organized. So I'll have a header. This is going to be references. And we'll have another header, behavior parameters, and then another one here, header state machine drivers, yeah, state machine drivers. Cool. So let's add in another serialized field, private int direction, or max direction changes. Yeah, I'll run with that for the time being. We'll have a private int direction change count, and that's going to be internal because, like I say, we're just going to use that for deciding how many times we change. And what we can actually do, so in our change state, we want to reset this whenever we go back to idle or change to attacking. So we'll say direction change count equals max direction changes, and do the same here. Cool. Yeah, cool. And then in roaming, we can say direction change count minus. Very, very nice. And simply all we'll do in the roaming state, when we get to decide what we're gonna do next, we will, I guess, roll the dice. We could just 50-50 it. Sure, why not? Yeah, let's 50-50 it. So we're going to say var decision equals random dot range, and we're going to use the int version, so we're going to go 0 to 2, and that's going to return us either 0 or 1, because it's, as it says here, it's integer for the minimum inclusive and an integer for the maximum exclusive. So we're never going to get 2 out of this. And then we can just say if decision is equal to 0, we will change state into our idle state. No, we won't. We'll change state into roaming. No, sorry. If decision is 0, so we're going to say this is we'll say attack is 0. Yes. 0 is our attack. Otherwise, do the alternative. Attack has been chosen, so switch to that state. Change state. Attack. Otherwise, we're going to do another if statement. We're going to say if direction change count is less than no, we want that to be greater than. Here we go. Working through. So we'll set it to 0 when we reset it. And then if it's greater than or equal to the max direction changes, we're going to change state to our idle. And finally, otherwise, we are going to change state back into the roaming state, at which point we'll, do our initialization of things and blah, blah, blah. So all we're going to do here is yield return new wait 4 seconds. And then, I don't know, random.range. And we probably want to have these as parameters as well. So let's have some header for move roaming state parameters. I'm actually going to take this and move it down below my behavior parameter section. Serialized field, private, float, roam, move, speed. Let's go with that. I'm going to set that to like 2. We'll have a serialized field, private, float, min, roam, time. Set to like ½ a second, and then serialized field, whoops, private float max roam time, which will set to like 2 seconds. And then we can wait between our min roam time and our max roam time. Very good, very nice. Cool. Ooh, hello. Adam's here. Hey friend, how's it going? Game I saw somebody mention the other day. Somebody mentioned this game the other day. Amazing. Well, welcome. I hope you enjoy looking into this magical world of me trying to write code in a way that's not messy, because at the moment I'm kind of jumping all over the place. But for anyone who's just joining in, we are working on enemies, making bats, and yeah, we'll hopefully see the fruits of our labor in just a second. I'm doing a bad approach and kind of writing the entire class before I test anything, which is never the way to do it, but we'll allow it. So I don't think we actually need to do anything in the handle idle state. Let's just call our methods handle idle state here. In here we want to start coroutine handle roaming state, and then down here we need a final method, public void handle handle attack state. So I was debating there if I wanted to have it as a coroutine or as a like a proper method. Oh, yeah, a coroutine or a normal method. Let me just flip my phone the other way around so I can have it in a better position to be able to see what chat's saying. There we go. You noticed, Adam. You noticed. Don't worry. So I wanna move my camera just a little bit as well, so that I can make sure I stay in focus, because it's like I've got the camera set up to just focus on a specific zone, and if I like move out, it's gonna focus in the background. But yeah, I want to make sure it stays on my face. Oh dear. Cool. So I need to think about how I want to go about doing movement for this guy. If I want to use a character controller, or if I want to just use a rigid body, which I'm kind of tempted to use a rigid body because I want to put like a little bit of knockback on the thing when you hit it, but I don't know, we might do that in another way. How's looking epic? Thank you, sir. It is keeping me warm. It's a little bit cold today, I feel, but these LED lights are doing the business as well. They're like, look at that, stupid bright and very warm. Rip my electricity bill. Okay, so I'm trying to think about kind of what I want to do this, what order I want to do things in. I might just have it so we decide what our direction for motion is down here, and we'll just pick like a random 360, I guess, like a random direction, or a random up, down, left, or right. No, yeah, we'll say, okay, var. No, we won't. Let's cache it. Let's cache it. So we are actually going to have a private vector2, which will be our move direction. And we will, I think I'm probably going to use the character controller. Yeah, I think I'm probably going to use the character controller. But what we'll do, we'll say move direction equals new vector2. And we'll do random.range, lots of randoms, between -1f and 1f. And again, random.range, -1f, 1f. And we will normalize that. Cool, that's our random direction chosen. I'm going to put in a little debug log here. Yeah, let's clean up a little bit. So I'm going to move my direction change reset back into here, and I'm just for the time being going to change straight out of the idle state into the roaming state, because I want to just make sure that's working. And what we will also do is have a we need our awake and our start methods, because in awake what we'll do is just grab references to things. So we'll say our health manager equals get component health manager, and in start we will simply change state into our initial state. I think that's everything I need to do. Yep, feels about right. And I maybe want to separate out the movement as well. Because what we could actually do is have... I'm trying to think if there's a way that I can split out the player movement controller. I'll worry about refactoring that later. Not important for now. Snow's going away today. Been raining all Sat. Yeah, same here. We still had like a little bit of snow lingering around the place. But yeah, it's just all rainy, frosty. kind of grim at the moment. Still keep the fingers crossed for Christmas. You know, it would be nice to have a snowy Christmas. Just as long as it doesn't block the roads, because I've got to, like, drive about places, and especially for going for Christmas at my grandparents' house as well. They live, like, up a hill with, like, a little rickety stone path. So getting up that in frost and snow in my my Peugeot is not gonna be the best. Yeah, would rather not. Right, let's you know, I don't need the serialized fields on these because we're gonna grab them in the awake. So we'll also have references. We'll have a character controller. Yep, that's fine. And then in update, we will... I don't think we need to do a switch even. We can just say... yeah, var move speed equals... and we can do a check to say current state is equal to attacking. Because if we're attacking, I want to move a bit faster. So actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and duplicate our roaming for attacking. State parameters, we're going to have attack, move, speed. And we're not going to worry about any of that stuff there for now. So if we're attacking, we use attack, move, speed. Otherwise, we'll use the roaming move speed. And then we'll say if move direction is not equal to vector 2.0, we will do controller.move new vector 3 to do move direction.x move direction 0 move direction.y normalize. Do we need to normalize it? Nope, it's already normalized. Multiply by our move speed and multiply by time.delta time. Like so. Can simplify that expression. Great, and I'm also going to just go ahead and up the attack move speed to like 3, just so the bats are a little bit faster at getting to the player. Maybe I want to I see if I can remember what my player move speed is, because what would be a good way to do it is have it so that the yeah, move speed is 2, perfect. So what we can actually do, if we set the default for the bat to be like 1.5 on the roam so that players can catch up to it, and then 2.5 on the attack, so players just walking normally aren't going to be able to get away. They'll have to do some dodging, some good maneuvering, and attack, so that it's a bit more interesting than just like an annoying thing floating around the place. So let's create a sphere for our bat. Do this proper empty bat. This is going to have our bat enemy controller on it, which of course needs a character controller and a health manager. Max health will set to like 1, because it doesn't need to be particularly hard. This is going to be like a real entry level enemy. I'm going to go ahead, reset the position of the bat, and just kind of move him forwards and up a bit. I want to, oh gosh, scene view. I want to create a 3D object sphere. I'm going to remove the sphere collider. This is going to be our graphics. I'm going to just create a new material because I really hate using the default material. And I can reuse them later. Let's use like a purple, grey purple. I'm not going to worry with giving him eyes for now, because he's just going to move around randomly. Obviously, we want the height of our character controller to only be 1, because he's a circle, a sphere even. I'm not going to worry about any of the detection radius or anything at the moment. But hopefully, if we press play, he should just move around the place randomly. Oh, I need to set the initial state. Oh, wait, no, it'll switch automatically. Oh, no reference exception, line 46. Controller. Oh, yeah. Let's make sure we're actually getting the character controller in here. Give this another try, and hopefully we should see our little bat moving around randomly. Yeah, there we go. And he will do that where he just kind of hits a corner, which is yeah, that's not ideal. I mean, maybe we do a check to see if he collides with a wall, then we can just trigger a change. So what I'll actually do is say var wait time equals random.range between those, and then we'll say while wait time float elapsed time equals 0. So while elapsed time is less than or less than or equal to wait time, or controller dot is it side? Because there's grounded is... We're going to have to look at the references here. It may well be collision flags that I just need to look at. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Collision sides.flags. We'll say elapsed time plus equals time.delta time. Oh, yeah. There we go, equal to 0. So if we haven't got the sides collision flag, then we'll yield return null. We'll just wait as usual. That way, if we hit a wall, we can break out of there. Maybe I wanna actually bring this in. If that, then I can debug.log hit a wall changing early, and then we break. Which doesn't work like that actually, does it? It needs to be yield break. Yeah. Otherwise we do this behavior. Gonna just put a comment in there if we've hit something sideways. Let's change direction early. And I maybe do want this to be not completely random. I do want it to be a random between 4. So for that, let's just have a private vector2 array direction options. And what's that equal to new vector2? And we can use vector2 down, vector2 left, vector2 right, vector2 up. And we'll just leave it at that for the time being. And then we can say move direction equals new, equals direction options random.range between 0 and direction options.count. Length, even. It's an array. Close that off. There we go. So now it'll only move up, down, left, or right. Yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily the behavior I want, but I'm gonna do it, and I'll put in a little debug.log for each of these. Debug.log entering roaming state. We'll do the same thing for idle and attacking. Idle state, attack state. And yeah, we should hopefully see things behaving if we keep an eye on our console. Oh, it hit a wall and then it hasn't. Oh, wait. Not that this should matter, actually. Hit the wall. So yeah, at the point of hitting the wall, that means we've got here, we've broken out. We should do this stuff. So that should be increasing. Do a debug.log. I'm gonna say got here. It's a really bad message, but it's something. It'll give me an idea of if it's actually got to that point, because that's, at the moment, I feel like that's probably not what's happening. It's just not changing. Oh. Yeah, it's not getting to that point. I wonder if I can do a normal break. I also want to make sure that I don't have any sloping on this thing. I'm also going to just scale down the bat a bit. So he's like 0.75? 0.5. Let's go 0.5. 0.65. Yeah. So that's going to be 0.325. Nice. And like I say, I want the slope limit to be 0 and the step offset to also be 0? Yes. Yeah. Why did he enter the attack state? Oh, yeah, because the... Aha. Yeah. I don't want him to switch to the attack state. So... Actually, you know what? Again, just override it for handle attack state. Let's change state. Roam. And that way he's just going to keep roaming. This should be the one. This should be the one. Keeping everything crossed. Oh. Don't tell me I've crashed something. No way have I got an infinite loop. I definitely don't have an infinite loop. If it crashes again now, I've got an infinite loop somehow. Oh my god, have I got an infinite loop? No! No! I don't believe it. No. Where's that going to be getting stuck? It must be here. This must just always be returning true. Oh, yeah. There we go. That needs to be not equal to 0 because we want to check if... Yeah, there we go. So I am going to have to restart Unity one more time. Gonna hit play and hope for the best. There we go. Oh, he hit a wall. He hit a wall and it crashed. God. No. Okay. So here's a thought. Rather than entering this infinite cycle, let's just change the direction. We won't count it as one of our changes. We'll just copy paste this like so, and then it can do its normal loop, and that should hopefully behave a bit better. Loops, my favorite. There we go, flying along. Let's hit a wall. It's great. Just kind of bouncing around the place, flapping around. I think you should collide with us as well. Yeah. Yeah, cool. Nice. Yo. Going good. We are making a bat, which is this purple sphere that's floating around the place at the moment. which has taken me longer to make it do that than I would have liked, but that's fine because it's working now, so we can set it up so we can actually smack it and do some damage. So let's go ahead onto our bat here. I'm going to create another empty, which is going to be our bat hitbox. And ironically, I think this needs a hurt box on it. The owner is going to be the bat. It's going to be active, and it's going to be an enemy. Wait, no. Wait, yes. I keep remembering or forgetting wrong which. Yes, yeah. So we have a hurt box on the bat. Hurt box. Cool. This needs a box collider, which we are going to set the size smaller because he's only 0.65 big. So we'll go 0.65, 0.65, 0.65. Welcome. How are we all doing today? All the new people joining. Hello. As I was saying, we're working on creating some enemies for this very early days Zelda-inspired roguelike prototype. And yeah, we've created a bat so far. Which we're now setting up with some combat so that I can smack it with my sword. Yeah, should be good. I'm doing pretty good. Thank you for asking. Nice, kind of chilly Sunday over here in the UK at the moment, but ultimately doing good. I'm gonna go ahead and on this bat, I'm actually gonna set the Y position to 1, and I'm going to set the height of the hitbox to 2. That way we just guarantee that the player's always going to hit it with the sword, regardless of the height of the thing. It'll always be the same position. So, if I remember correctly, I'm going to refer back to my test dummy that I made last time. We need to implement the hurt responder on our bat. And we'll actually... Do I need to do that? I think I can do it on the health manager. No. We'll do it on the bat. So on my bat, I'm going to implement hurt responder. And this is going to give us a couple of things in here. We've got our check hit, which for the bat, I'm just always going to return true. And for the response, we will do health manager dot change health negative data dot damage, and we'll do a little debug dot log again with some string interpolation, bat took, and then data dot damage, and I'm gonna pass through this object so that we can check which bat it is that we've hit. Does my health manager have a check health? It doesn't. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. For the time being, let's just go ahead and see if these debugs come out. I'm going to just take out the debug lines on the movement. I'll leave in my state change ones so that we can keep an eye on that. But for the time being, we will just see what's popping. So we've got our guy moving around. Let's give him a little bang. Yeah, we hit the bat. No hurt responder. What do you mean? What do you mean? Oh, because I haven't I haven't actually set set that thing. Maybe I want to do it in the hurt box because we have an owner. Maybe on awake. We'll do hurt responder equals owner dot try get component of type hurt responder. Ah, of course. Wait, what? I'm just being silly. Whoops. Out. Hurt responder. There we go. Name can be simplified. Nice. That's cool. Love it when things work like that. So it should automatically pick up the hurt responder from our hurt box now, because our bat hitbox is going to look on the owner, check for the bat enemy controller, see that it's implementing our hurt responder, and will fill it in appropriately. So again, keeping an eye on our debug logs. Yay! Bat 2, I can't spell, but the bat took damage. Oops. Amazing. Why is it entering the roaming state in different places like that? But I can, yeah, I can slice the bat and the bat does stuff. Cool. The more I'm watching this play out, the more I'm thinking I definitely want to nah. Yeah, let's yeah. We can just add on a knockback vector. Yeah. Cool. And we'll, again, we can do that proportional to the force, and have it last for a certain amount of time. We don't want to use magic numbers, but I'm going to be a little bit lazy. So I'm going to add on a new method up the top here. Apply knockback, which is going to take in a vector 2, taking a vector 3, yeah. Direction. And actually, I'm going to have this as an I in numerator. Yeah. This is the way I want to do things. So we'll say, again, we want to cache our knockback vector somewhere. Private vector 3 knockback vector. And all we'll do is say knockback vector equals direction, yield, return, new, wait for seconds, 0.5, and then knockback vector equals vector 3.0. And what we can do down here now is say apply knockback, and the direction is going to be data negative data dot hit direction. I should really rename that to hit normal. Let's make sure we call that start coroutine. And I'm actually going to normalize the direction and multiply it by some number. For the time being, I'm going to use 5. But really, we don't want to be using an arbitrary value. So let's do var move vector equals new vector 3, and that's actually going to be this line here, plus our knockback vector, and then we can do if move vector is not equal to vector 3.0, we will do time.delta time multiplied by move vector. Hello, welcome in. We are working on a bat, and I think I should be able to apply knockback to the bat now when I hit it, which is cool. We'll see how this goes. It may be terrible. but this should theoretically mean we can smack the bat and it will fly backwards. I want it to come out into the middle of the ground so I can hit it from the side. Come on, mate. Come down. Come down. Yeah, there we go. I mean, that's probably does it for way too long. Does it for way too long and it's way too slow, but that's yeah, that's more or less what I wanted to go for. So I'm actually going to multiply by 7.5. Sorry, not 7.5. That would be massive. Oh wait, no, that was what I meant. 7.5 there, and the duration we're going to have as 125. So it's really short. We can smack the thing, and it'll just slide back a little bit. Favorite Zelda game? Ooh, that is a good question. I mean, I'm a bit basic, so I might just say Ocarina of Time. It's one that I always come back to, and I've done countless randomizers for it. But I have really been enjoying the remake of Link's Awakening at the moment, because that was one of the originals that I used to play on the Game Boy. We've still got the original Link's Awakening cartridge lying around somewhere actually, and it's one that I could never get through on the Game Boy, because the screen is so small, and the visuals, especially in the classic green and black render style, was just so hard to figure out what was going on. But yeah, I've been replaying it on the Switch at the moment and just absolutely loving it. But yeah, Ocarina of Time is definitely up there. Majora's Mask as well is one of my favorites, because the characters in it are also interesting, and the mechanic of the time management and the different side quests through it, trying to get 100% completion on that is such an interesting challenge to manage. So I think those are probably my top three. And then, I completely forgot about Twilight Princess. That's another one that's really, really up there for me. Just with the dark themes, it's absolutely love it. Link's Awakening, yeah, it's brilliant. I love it. Yeah, I mean, just as a franchise, Zelda is amazing. I don't think there's a single actual Zelda game that I would say is bad. There's ones that are worse than others. Obviously, Skyward Sword has its own reputation. I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. Hot take, it's actually pretty decent. Fi is annoying, and it is quite linear and hand-holdy, but I think, especially for people who are newer to the franchise, you still want the kind of classic Zelda feel, compared to Breath of the Wild with its open world approach and the massive flip to the script that it made, which again, amazing game in its own right, and I absolutely love Breath of the Wild. Again, one of my favorites. But Skyward Sword is actually pretty decent for newbies to the franchise to kind of sink their teeth into it. But yeah, I love them. I love them all. It's been a big inspiration for me for a very long time. There we go. Look at that. Decent knockback on the bat now. Cham. Cham. Pew, pew, pew. Cool. So, I had... This is actually good progress for what I wanted to achieve in today's stream. I had two things that I wanted to do outside of just getting the basic thing set up. I want to make it so that we can actually kill the bat. We can hit it, it'll lose health, it'll die, make a particle effect, and do like a poof. And I also want to make it so that it drops stuff, potentially, with an item drop component. So I might... I'm trying to think about the best way to do this, because I obviously don't want to destroy the bat until after it's done all of the things, and I don't want it to... Yeah, okay, let's do it like that. So I'm actually going to have the bat controller have a callback on it. So we'll yeah, no, this class isn't actually too bad. I was thinking it was getting a bit long, but it's actually still a decent size, sitting in at 155 lines of code with padding for format and comments. So that's an acceptable number. I am going to create a final method, or a final state actually, called death. And we will have a case for that. Same as before, I'm going to have this one as a coroutine. So coroutine handle death, because that way we can like play animations and all that jazz. Public enumerator handle death. And actually, these should probably be private, because we don't want to call them directly from anywhere outside of this class. We only want to do them from within here. I think I can also make apply knockback private. Change state we want public. Yeah, change state is probably the only thing that we want public, so that's fine there. And what we'll do is just on awake, we'll do health manager dot on death dot add listener, and we'll use a lambda expression for change state, passing in death as the state we want to change to. And then in our on destroy, we'll just make sure we do health manager dot on death dot remove all listeners, so that we don't have anything on there. Want to build a Zelda-like top-down RPG but have little Unity experience. Any recommendations on how to start? Yes, definitely. First thing would be don't do that first, which obviously is like really annoying and kind of like, why would you tell me that? But it's always good, like if you can learn the basics of things. Games like Zelda actually aren't all that complex in terms of the stuff in them. Most of it is just content and padding out. If you can design the systems and the code well, there's actually not all that many moving parts. It's just content. So the best place to start would be just do some of the built-in Unity learning projects. Get familiar with components like the character controller if you're going with the 3D approach, like the Link's Awakening remake, or with the 2D physics system, 2D rigid bodies, 2D colliders, all of that jazz if you're going down the 2D approach. Get an idea for how C# works, how to structure code. There's actually a really good video, which I'll post out a link in my Discord server. If you're already in now, I'll post out a link to a video by, I think it's the Scruffy Dev, talking about how to build good code architecture. And he mentions a few good design patterns to look through. But it's really just kind of a case of starting off small and building your way up so that you can learn the engine to then know how to implement these bigger games, which have a lot more complexity, a lot more moving parts, but actually when you know the bits and pieces, it's not too difficult to implement all of them. It's small moving parts with lots of content, and it looks bigger than it is. And then also I teach game development as well, so if you want to get in touch with me personally, feel free to send me a message on Discord or on Twitter, and we can talk about things like learning paths, learning to code, learning Unity, and all the rest of it. So hopefully that's like a helpful little summarization for how to start out with game development, at least. Rataka's here. Mate, hello. How's it going? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. It's been a while since we've had a chat, but we're working on bats today, making things do the stuff. So before I went on my spiel about making games, I was setting up the callback on the bat so that we can control when it dies. We can do things like playing animations, spawning in, all the rest of it. And I want to do that using a coroutine. So we're going to have a callback. Callback on the thing. We're going to make a new method in here, private void check health, which is simply going to say if current health is equal to less than or equal to 0, we'll invoke our on death event. And this is cool. The reason I don't want to do any like destroying of objects in this class is because we might have different behaviors for different things when you die. So for example, in our player controller, we might want to do a check to see if the player has a fairy in their inventory, you know, because in classic Zelda fashion, if you've got a fairy in a bottle, when you die, it's going to refill your health. And maybe we want to implement that, or maybe we want to have some interesting like fire charge special ability, so that when you die, it creates a burst of fire around you, killing stuff around you and refilling your health. And so we want to keep the logic of when health reaches 0 or when health is changed. We want to decouple that from what we actually do in those cases. And that's why we're making use of the on health change and on death events that I've got here. And those can then have listeners assigned to them for the specific instances of a health manager that we've got. Which, again, going back to our bat, we are adding a listener for that death state. And that's then updating our the bat state to be death, which then runs this IEnumerator, so we can do like play our animation effects, yield, return new, wait for seconds, no, seconds, maybe like 0.5, wait for half a second. We'll already have the knockback on there. I want to set the move direction to vector 2.0 because we don't want it to be moving around anymore. We're going to wait for a bit, and then we will create the death effect, decide if we drop some item, oh no, we'll yeah, perform the item drop and destroy the bat. Woo! Game object. So yeah, destroying the game object is the easy bit because we can just do that there. But this is great because it means we can completely separate everything out, make sure that we're not going to end up with any weird execution order issues like I had in Covalent. I was doing a similar kind of thing, but I was letting all of the different subcomponents kind of be responsible for as and when things get destroyed, instead of having this parent controller that then destroys the thing once it's done all the stuff. So yeah, this is the way to do it. A different way to do it might be to just have stuff fire off in the onDestroy method. But I prefer this way. It just feels safer to me. I don't know why. But yeah, so let's test that out, I guess. Because I've got, yeah, the health manager is taking its damage. Let's just update that debug, and I'm gonna go in here and say debug.log. The bat has died, performing death sequence. And again, put out this so that we know what object has done the thing. I'm going to go and remove the roaming state debug log because I know that's working fine. I know the idle state is working fine as well. And actually, I know the attack state is working fine too because we've been testing it all out as we're going. So let's hop on over and see if our bat gets destroyed first of all, and then we'll create some particle effects and probably call it a day on that. Smack. Yeah, the bat died. Nice. Oh, that's great. Yeah, not much else to say. Let's go ahead and create some particle effects. So I'm going to create a effect particle system. Creature death explosion. Right, let's see if we can come up with something good here. We are going to emit from a sphere, and do I want to emit from a sphere? Sure, let's do it from a sphere. I'm going to keep the radius. I'm going to put the radius to 0.5, and I'm going to emit from the shell by setting the radius thickness to 0. I believe that's the way to do it anyway. Yeah. Set that to 0, and that way we're only going to get stuff emitting from the edge. I'm going to go ahead and just set the start speed to 0. So we can see we've got things doing that now. Nothing moving. I'm going to change the renderer to use just the default sprite unlit material. We are going to... it's a shame I don't have like a puff of smoke thing, at least for the time being, but life goes on. We will just set the emission rate over time to 0. We will have a burst of like 10 to start with. I'm going to put some force. Yeah, force over lifetime. No. Velocity over lifetime. Yeah. And we can up the radial velocity to like make it a curve. Yeah, let's make it a curve. And then we can have it curve down. So it's like they burst out and then hit 0. And we can change this max point to maybe like 10. And we need to make sure we set the lifetime down to something reasonable as well, like 0.25. Nice. Let's get a nice color going here as well. This looks so ridiculous. What I probably want to do is maybe I think I might rip off Wind Waker and get some nice like smoke effect. I've also just realized the music's gone. Let's get that back going. Yeah, there we go. It's the chill Zelda hours. That's how we like it. Yeah, I'll probably rip off the Wind Waker and have like a poof of smoke with the stuff coming up. Almost like what I did for Shepherd, actually. That was quite cool. And I'm actually gonna bring that one over a little bit. Edit key. I'm gonna set the time on this to 0.5 and the value to like 0.5 as well. No, maybe I will set it to 0. Because I want it to like properly slow to there. No, not 0. 0 is too slow. 0.25. 0.025. Sure, that'll do. And then we can have a scale over lifetime, which will do kind of like this. Broken, flat, edit, you're going to be 1 at 0.9, I guess. And then we'll just speedy scale it down to 0. And we'll do a similar thing up this end as well, just so it's not like instantaneous. Cool. Mr. Shiba, I have a question. Learning Unity and GitHub Copilot competition have been helping out a ton, but I'm wondering long term, do you think maybe that's a bad strategy? I'm not going to lie, I don't actually know what GitHub Copilot is. I don't think I've ever heard of it before, which, whew, that's something I'm going to have to look into. I imagine it's probably a decent way to do it. I'm kind of like I have a weird approach to how I like to learn things, specifically with Unity as well, because I think another thing, and I'm going to go off on a bit of a spiel here again, another thing to consider with making games is how much there is to it, in terms of like the visual side, the coding side, and all the subsections of each of those. So like in coding you have systems design, you have UI coding, you've got user experience, game feel. In the visual side you've got particle systems and VFX, you've got 3D modeling, 3D rigging, 3D animating, 2D art, UI design, shader design, so many different aspects. And it's kind of insane like what people do these days, as far as like solo developers and people do, most of which is way beyond my caliber for certain and sure. But with all of that said, I like to learn like principles of things and kind of how to approach things in a kind of quote unquote best practice way. So with code, I don't learn things as C#. I just learn principles of approaches, so things like design patterns, and how certain solutions would be solved theoretically. And then because I know like the syntax of C# and the tools that are available in it, like how to write out for loops, how to use linked lists, for example, etc., all those kind of things, I can take that theory and implement it in code, in practice, because ultimately that's really what you need to be able to do if you want to make your own games. And this is good for any beginners looking to get into game development, because Rotaka, I know you're actually kind of cracked developing things, you sly man. But the general approach that I think is good to take is, rather than learning or going onto YouTube and searching up how to make a 2D platformer in Unity, that's not going to teach you how to make games, really. I mean, you can kind of abstract it, but it would be better to search like it's better to kind of do those basic starter projects initially, so that you can understand like the general structure of C#, the way it interacts with Unity, how to use the engine. And then once you've got that basic understanding of this is the hierarchy, this is the scene, this is how scenes can be managed, this is what prefabs are, these are scriptable objects, etc., move on to learning things like behavioral patterns, creational patterns. From a coding perspective, at least, you can learn those sorts of things. Stuff like the strategy pattern, mediator pattern, the state pattern, definitely. Those three are like really solid patterns to learn. Definitely ones that will solve most problems that you'll come into when trying to develop out a system. Another one definitely would be the singleton pattern, very important one that you'll probably come across a lot, and the component pattern, because that pattern is like the core foundation of how Unity is designed to work with the mono behavior approach. Obviously you've got things like ECS and dots starting to come out, but to go off of Unity's own documentation, you shouldn't be touching those unless you're making a really large scale project that needs loads of optimization, and you should be like pretty experienced with Unity, at least have 1 or 2 commercial games shipped before you even really bother dabbling, because you just don't need to. You can if you're interested, but you probably aren't going to even need to touch it for like any projects that you work on, unless you're trying to recreate Breath of the Wild, which again, if you're a beginner game dev with less than like 10 years experience, you probably don't want to be trying to recreate Breath of the Wild, because you're going to be spending several years making it. You know, considering it took Nintendo, what, like 9 years or something crazy to make it. it's probably not worth trying. But yeah, so like my approach to learning is do some basics so that you understand how the tool works, or how the tools work, tools being Unity and C#, or Unreal Engine and Blueprint/C++, or Godot and C# or GD script, whatever it may be that you want to use. And then learn about principles like design patterns, best practices for shader design, UX design, and then you can use those to build out whatever it is you need to make, instead of having to go on these weird kind of piecing together tutorials and ending up with a mess of spaghetti code that you'll never be able to put new features into. So that's the approach I'd take there. Again, if you want more info on that kind of approach, shoot me a DM on Discord. I would absolutely love to, you know, have calls with anyone who's interested in talking more about that, and get more of a discussion going. But that's the route that I would go down once you're comfortable with the general overview of the tools that you decide to use. So back on this here particle system, I'm going to just put some randomization in the start size. We are going to do random between two constants, which will be like 0.5 and 0.75, I guess. Maybe even smaller. Let's do 0.25 and 0.5 because this looks disgustingly messy. I am going to do a rotation over lifetime, which again I'm going to have as a curve. No, I'm not. I'm going to have it as a random between two constants, which will be negative 45 and 45. Maybe let's do negative 180 and 180. And then I would like to... Oh wait, no, that's not what I want. Oh, but maybe that is what I want. Let's have a curve on the orbital velocity around the y-axis, which can go like that. And I think I'll set this this value up to like 5. Nice. That's quite interesting actually. And I'll set the speed modifier to a random between two constants, which will be 1 and 5. No, 1 and 2. 0.5 and 2. Negative 2 and 2. No. It's gonna have to be like that. 0.5 and 1. And this radial curve is making me angry. Yeah, there we go. And let's add some trails as well. Particle. Need to set the material again. We're going to use the unlit. No, not lit. Unlit. Ooh. Lifetime we'll set to like 0.5. We will set the width over trail to a curve. Again, one of these ones. Yeah, I think that's fine. Particles. Wait, no, I don't want to use that curve. I want to use the one that goes down like that. Yeah. And I don't like that they're square. I don't want square particles. Can I just have none? Nope. I need to put like a circle on there somewhere. I think I made a material for it, but... Oh, you know what? It'll do. It'll do for now. Yeah, no worries, dude. No worries. Like I say, if you want to shoot me a message... Oh, my camera's gone. I just realised. If you want to shoot me a message on Discord or something, we can have a call at some point and talk about things more. Because, yeah, like I say, I'm more than happy to help out there. I'm going to just take down the start size again and maybe increase the amount that we've got on this burst to 25. Ooh, that's kind of weird. I don't know if I like that or not. I should not be faffing so much. Right, make that a prefab. Delete. Let's go back onto our bat enemy controller and make a prefab for that. So I'm actually going to go ahead and put my header back in here. Whoops. Header references. And we are going to have a serialized field, private game object, death particles. And then all we've got to do is create the death effect. Instantiate death particles, transform dot position, quaternion dot identity. That's fine. And then I just need to make sure that I go onto this. I turn off looping because we don't want it to loop, and we want our stop action to be destroy. And then we can go onto our bat, drag and drop this death particle into there, hit save. You know what? Let's make a few bats. Let's give ourselves a few to play around with here, so that we can have some fun with it. Also, while we're moving on to the final aspect, let me just trim back over here to a blank screen real quick. I'm going to put a little poll on for what we do next. So if you're interested in following along with this series, let me know. Do you want to do in the next live stream puzzle rooms, treasure chests, whoops, dungeon progression, or items, usable items? There we go. Amazing. Yeah, stick your votes in there if you're interested. I think that should come up in the chat, hopefully. I've never done one of these polls on a YouTube live before, so we'll see how it goes. If nothing comes up, I'll do it as a community post and you can vote on there. If it does, stick a vote in, let me know what you think. So we should be able to bang. Yeah, look at that. They explode. I think maybe I don't want them to don't want them to take quite that long to die. Let's maybe drop this to 0.25 seconds. I think what's our knockback time? Yeah, it probably makes sense to be half the knockback. Excuse me. Nice. Great. I mean, I'm kind of tempted to let that be my stopping point. We've basically ticked off exactly what I wanted to get done in this stream, which was create a bat that we can attack and it will die. So let's save this as a prefab first of all. Let's do some cleanup as well while we're here. I'm going to just make a folder in my prefabs folder called enemy prefabs. I mean, it probably makes more sense to just call it enemies, but hey ho. Let's make a folder for particle effects as well. And I've also just remembered that the VFX graph is now supported on URP, so maybe we'll have to do some playing around with the VFX graph at some point and see if we can come up with anything cool there. Player objects as the final one for that. Drag and drop these boys in there. And cool. So, actually, you know what? I am going to... Let's do an experiment. I'm going to pop open the room template. And I'm going to just drag some bats in. At random positions. And then what we'll be able to see is if we hop over to our... first of all, let's apply all the overrides on my player pawn here. Save the scene. I don't think we have any on the... Oh, we do. I won't apply that. Yeah, no, I will. No overrides on here. You're fine. We'll hop back over into our sample scene. Set our controlling player there. I want to make sure this is all... Genuinely can't remember which order they're supposed to be in, but if we hit play... Yeah, look at that. So we've got bats running around our procedural dungeons now. The only thing that is annoying is that they can go between rooms, which I don't really want them to do. So we'll have to add some sort of management on our dungeon controller. Let's... Oh, didn't quite go far enough. Make this a bit bigger. Oh, I just dashed into the bat instead of slicing it. Bang. Bang. That's so... Looks so bad at the moment, but this is the first stage that you want to go through, really. So we've got I mean, how long have I been working on this? This has been like a couple of days, a few days work. The biggest bulk of which has been building out this dungeon generator, which I'm very happy with. I'm very chuffed with the dungeon generator. But we've got this dynamic player controller, which again, if I just duplicate our player pawn here, move him across, and I'm going to disable the movement controller, we can have multiple players supported. See that he's actually still slicing. We've got multiple rooms supported here, which we can have that everything's updating dynamically to show which ones. There's probably some settings that I want to change with the dynamic rooms, just so that it's you know, a little bit nicer. But this is a good foundation, good prototype to start with. So I think probably the timeline for this is going to be tidying up the game loop, getting things going, and then I'll chuck some art assets on there. And yeah, we'll see where we're going. But like I say, that's probably where I want to end it. My webcam is gone, so we'll not be seeing my face, just a black screen. But I want to say thank you everybody who came by for watching. It's been a really fun one. I'm looking forward to doing more, and I'm actually genuinely enjoying being back doing live streams and making content. So yeah, looking forward to seeing you all on the next one. Those of you who have cast your vote, thank you very much. By looks of things, we're going to be doing usable items, so yay. It's going to be quite fun, actually. What I'll probably do is stick out a poll in Discord to get some more results onto this, and also find out if we end up going down the usable items route, what item we might want to implement, whether we do something like a hook shot or the boomerang or bombs or whatever it may be. Because like I say, with this modular approach, it's actually going to be quite simple to pull all of these things together. So yeah, once again, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like the stream if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're not already, head over to the Discord server if you want to get involved in more polls for what we do on streams and what features go into game. Follow on Twitter if you want more frequent updates, because that's definitely where I'm more active. And yeah, thanks very much. I'll see you guys